Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, today we will study about the expansion of Islamic Empire during the Caliphate period of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziyallahu Ta'ala an. As I told you earlier in the previous lecture that Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziyallahu an had to face internal problems in the Islamic Empire in the very initial stage of his caliphate. So after defeating the apostasy movement and the tribes who refused to pay zakat and the false prophets, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu now turned his attention to the Persian, also known as Sassanids or Sassanian and Byzantine empires, which were a threat to Islamic empire and Islam itself. Relations between the Muslims, Persians, and Byzantines had been tense from the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's envoy to King Pervez II, the Persian emperor, had been met with insult, and the Persians' enmity was further revealed when they supported the rebellion in Bahrain during the apostasy movement in the time of Abu Bakr Siddiq Razil Anhu's caliphate. Iraq, which lay to the north of Arabia, was a province of Persia, now known as Iran, in the 7th century. The Arab tribes who lived on the borders of Iraq instigated the native Arabs to raise against the Muslims in Arabia. The Islamic State also depended on Iraq for its trade passage, but the Persian Empire did not allow this. Hence, economic necessity was yet another reason that compelled the Muslims into conflict with the Persians. Before we read the next topics, I would like you all to press the like button and subscribe the channel to receive all other lectures as well, the next lectures too. In 633 AD, a Muslim army of 18,000 under the command of Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid Razil An met a huge Persian force at Kazima under the command of Hormuz. Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid Razil An offered them three options: accept Islam, or pay the jizya, or get ready to fight. These conditions had been laid down by the Holy Prophet Muhammad himself during his lifetime. The Persians chose to fight, and they tied themselves in chains to face the heavy attack of Muslims. This showed their do or die state of mind. Due to heavy attack of Muslims, they were forced to fall back. Muslims won the battle, and Iranians suffered a humiliating defeat. Thousands of them, including Hormuz, were killed, and thousands were taken captives of the battle, captives of war. After winning the battle of Kazima, Hazrat Khalid bin Walid and his army advanced further into Iraq. The Persian army under the command of Qarin crossed the river Tigris at Mazar, and they halted there. They encamped there. The remaining army of Hormuz that had escaped from Kazima joined them. As soon as Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid reached Mazar, he came to know of the Persian concentration. Both the armies met in battle. The Persian army could not withstand the attack of Muslims and headed towards the river. The Muslim army overtook them and killed them in large numbers. Their casualties were almost 30,000. Their commanders, including Qarin, were also killed. The Muslims won a second consecutive victory against Iranians. Subsequently, the inhabitants offered submission and agreed to pay jizya. Then Hazrat Khalid bin Walid appointed his own amil or governor over there. Hazrat Sa'id bin Noman was sent to Caliph Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Razil An with fifth part of booty and glad tidings of the victory. After the defeat of the Persians at Mazar, the Persian emperor sent two more large battalions to fight the Muslims. After crossing river Euphrates, they established their camp at Walaja. The battle began when Hazrat Khalid bin Walid reached Walaja. Soon the battlefield turned into a slaughterhouse for the Persian force, and the bulk of Persian army was murdered. This was the third consecutive victory of the Muslims over Persians, which established the superiority of Muslim army in the world. Another series of fierce battles followed the Battle of Fallujah, till the final battle with the Persians took place at Hira. They took shelter in their forts. After a siege of many days, the leaders of Hira surrendered. Hence, a peace treaty was signed between the Muslims and the local Persians in summer of 633 AD. According to the Treaty of Hira, the Persians were to pay a jizya of 2 lakh to the Muslim Caliphate regularly every year in return for the protection and security provided by the Muslim Caliphate. The people of Hira were granted full religious liberty and civic freedom. After the conquest of Hira, the whole Central Iraq, which was the part of Iranian Empire, came under the rule of the Muslims. Byzantines began to conspire against the Muslims in cooperation with the Bedouin tribes on the Syrian borders. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Razil An raised a big army, a large army, and divided it into 4 battalions. Each battalion was put under the command of an experienced general. They marched towards different directions. Abu Ubaidah Razil marched to Hims, Amr bin al-As Razil to Palestine, Yazid bin Sufyan to Damascus, and Sharjil to Jordan, and later Hazrat Khalid bin Walid Razil was sent as supreme commander. The total number of Muslim army was 30,000. Heraclius also sent 4 great warriors, Tazaruk, Jarja, Raqis, and Rafiqa, with the army of almost 250,000, means 250,000. The first encounter of the Muslims took place at Basra, in which Muslims emerged victorious. Then the famous battle of Ajnadin took place, in which a huge Roman army was pitched against the Muslims. Again, the Romans were badly defeated. After this success, the Muslim army advanced towards Damascus, the capital of Syria, and laid siege to it, and after a siege of 1 month, it was conquered. In these battles, 3,000 Muslims were martyred, while on the other hand, almost 130,000 people were killed. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq died after 2 weeks of illness in Medina in 634 AD at the age of 63. He was buried the same night next to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave in Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa anha's house in Masjid al-Nabawi. Abu Bakr whilst on his deathbed, chose someone whom he believed was most qualified and capable of being the next caliph, and nominated Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab as his successor. So dear students, this was our today's lecture, and I hope you must have noted the important points and would benefit from this lecture. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.